Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Happy hump day out there. How you doing? Man, what a crazy world we live in. What a crazy week, right? We had the Dow down 700, up 500, up 200 today. Big talk about movement on infrastructure inside of Congress. Listen, spending is going to keep happening. They're going to do it. They have no choice. Inflation is here to stay, but we're going to help you through that today. We've got a silver spectacular today, so be ready for that. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll talk a little bit about Basel III. For those of you that don't know what that is, this is this has to do with the London Metals Exchange and making it more difficult, for lack of a better word, more difficult for banks, particularly the ones that run the London Metals Exchange, to manipulate prices. We'll talk about it. There's a broad agreement, but again, like everything else, they always leave loopholes. But we'll talk about that as well. A lot of people, it will be favorable. No doubt about it. It'll be favorable for gold and silver without a doubt. Some people are arguing, it's going to be this panacea. I don't see it as that. They'll leave themselves plenty of loopholes, but they'll just make it a little harder on these banks and try to give the illusion of being more transparent instead of actually just being transparent. Right. So, but we'll talk about that as well and a few other things. But we're really going to focus today on silver. I will tell you right now, we are the cheapest price in the country right this second on Silver Eagles, and it's not even close. Not even close. We have live product in Colorado. We have live product in Arizona. I've got more product coming, and I'm telling you, by and large, we're cheaper by $50, $80, $100, $150 a roll compared to, and I'm talking about all the major sites out there claiming to be the cheapest. We are today, right now, as an example, rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles are at $700 a roll. It's the first time since probably coronavirus. And really even before Corona, because it really started in January of 2020, the Silver Eagle shortage. It's the first time that you're seeing Silver Eagle prices under $10 over spot and all of those things. And it's only here at Patriot at 800-951-0592. But before we get to that, just a couple of things. We're getting ready. We're closing in on switching most of our deliveries to FedEx. We will still use the post office when we have to, because FedEx, as an example, doesn't deliver to P.O. boxes. The girls, if we ship product to you, the girls will be asking you for your email address. You don't have to give it to us, but if you do, you get notified all along the way. You'll be notified the day we make your label. Usually the day we make their label, either that day or the next day, FedEx will be picking it up. You'll be notified when the driver actually picks up your product from us. You'll be notified all throughout that process. So it's another piece of information. No, we're not going to use it to solicit you or do, we don't do any of that stuff. But that change is happening. What's it going to cost? Same amount it always has. No more, right? I think we're going to get a much better service. Here's the great thing. Everything is today. So it's not going to be overnight, but within 48 hours of them taking possession of your product, it will be at your wherever you told us to ship it. Adult signature required. And obviously we know with COVID that can be a little lax, but FedEx is getting a little better. And they're not asking for the signature per se, but they're asking for the name to put it in. But any event, That is going to be happening, and we're going to start doing that and start shipping that way here probably by next week, if not sooner. So keep that in mind. 800-951-0592. And also, real quick, and then the rest of the show, we'll talk mostly about silver. Don't forget those CBD products. You know, they have that new bath salt, and we are running this coupon, a $5 off coupon. I was talking to Chris and Jerry at My Kind. They're like, listen, these people need to try this. And I have it. I used it. My wife is a huge fan of it. The bath salt, and it's a lot. I know it's an expensive, more expensive. It's a $70 item. We were running a $5 off coupon. I talked to My Kind. We bumped it up $10 off. So if you order the bath salt, if you put bath, the word bath, BATH, in the promo code box, get $10 off. This is how positive My Kind is. You're going to love this thing. You're going to love it, and then you'll reorder it. It's a lot. This is not like a 30-day supply of bath salt. Unless you take like 2 baths a day, this thing will last quite a while, but it's just it's 4,000 milligrams. And the reason why it's so powerful is because the water will dilute it a little bit. So it's fantastic. If you got aches and pains, anxiety, maybe sleeping issues, all those things, soaking in the tub with some CBD, you're going to love it. Check it out. Go to 1360 and hit the shopping cart button. When we get back, what's going on with the silver market? Why has it been falling? What did it do today that makes me think maybe the falling's over? 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. We've got silver eagles, like I said, at $700 a roll. Silver rounds, $630 a round. So what's the difference between a silver eagle and a silver round? And I guess, you know what, let's go even further back. Let's start with, what is a silver eagle? And I know for a lot of you, you're like, come on, we know what a silver eagle is. There's always new people listening. So a U.S. silver eagle that is minted by the U.S. Mint. Okay, they've been in production since 1986. So all silver eagles are 1986 through the present. This year, they've come up with a new design, kind of commemorating 100 years ago in 1921 when they were getting ready to redesign the Morgan dollar. And they came up with the peace dollar because after World War I, of course, that peace didn't last very long. But that they've changed the design, but it's still a U.S. silver eagle. They mint them, and they put 21-ounce coins in every roll. We call it a roll. It actually comes in a rectangular tube, but there's 20 ounces of silver in every tube. It's a white tube, green top. They ship them in these green monster boxes. You know, that's how we buy them. There's 500 ounces or 25 rolls in every monster box. By the way, even at $700 an ounce, we're the cheapest. And the back dates, which all of these are back dates, there's going to be a variety of different dates. All back dates are now costing more. In other words, they're trying to get more for them. And like I said, you got guys out there charging $850 a roll. We don't play those games here. We don't do it. $700 a roll. If you buy a case, that's 25 rolls. I'll take another $5 off. You'll be down to $6.95 a roll. And again, we're already the cheapest there is, and we'll make it even that much cheaper for all of you. And again, you work that. What's that per ounce? Well, that's $35. If you buy a case of them, like I said, you save another $5 a roll. That brings, you save 25 cents an ounce that way. Right now, we got silver rally, and we'll get to that in a minute. But that's minted by the government, and it has a dollar value because that's what, by law, they have to have a value. Its value is $1. Obviously, you don't want to take silver eagles to the store and use it as a dollar when they're worth, $35, $40, $45. Yeah, that's not very smart. But and those are, like I said, U.S. government hallmarked. Didn't we have silver rounds? Silver rounds are also 1 ounce fine silver, and that's 39999 silver. So they're all of these coins, these two items, we're talking about pretty much pure silver. The only difference is, and these rounds will have different designs. Right now we've got buffalo rounds where you've got the male Indian and the buffalo. We got some Morgan rounds, which is kind of the face of the Morgan dollar on it. The one thing it doesn't have is a dollar value. And the reason that is it's not made by the government. So it just, same amount of silver. So what's the difference? Why does the government one cost more than the non-government? Well, pretty much the word government's in there, so that's why. But again, they have the exact same silver content. When you go to sell them back, so you got, cover both sides. Silver eagles normally, and especially today, sell back at a higher premium than all the other silver eagles. All the other silver, whether it's a silver round or a silver bar, utility silver, silver eagles will sell back for more. So you have a situation where, you save a little bit on the front side, but on the other side you make it up. You can decide which one you want to do, what silver you want to own. And then, of course, we have what I call utility or junk silver. Back when our currency, back in the day when our currency actually had value to it, we actually had silver in our dimes, quarters, and half dollars. And we did up until all the way through 1964. In 1965, we took them out of the quarters, we took them out of the dimes. Then we put a lot less in the half dollars, and I want to say by 1970, all the silver was out of the half dollars as well. But right now, the price per ounce on our utility silver on the dimes in the quarters, because the halves cost more, on the dimes in the quarters, and I just want to, and I had it and I lost it. Yeah, 31 and a half. $31.46 an ounce. Silver rounds are at $31.50. So the rounds and the utility silver are at the same price per ounce. And I go back and forth, space-wise, the rounds take up less space. But I like the junk silver because of the incrementation of it. Silver dimes, silver quarters. That's for, if you need to barter. Right? Hey, I need to barter things or what have you. You've got that availability. We hope that it doesn't happen. Right? Some horrible event. This would probably be, this would be something where the power was out, and it was out for an extended period. When we think about today, that seems so far-fetched. But then we see already right now, we're struggling with the power issue, aren't we? Look at what happened in Texas. Look at what happens in California and Washington and all these states. And now all of a sudden, right, we've got problems with the Colorado River. We've got water problems. Matter of fact, Lake Powell is getting so low, they're releasing water out of the reservoirs upstream in Wyoming, in Colorado, in New Mexico, because it's getting close to where power generation at the Glen Canyon Dam would stop. And this is something, they feed power to 7 states out of Glen. You know, we're not even talking about the Hoover Dam. The Hoover Dam's already, the water's so low there, they're already down to 75% capacity. The difference is they've got more modern turbines at the Hoover Dam than they do at Glen Canyon. Glen Canyon right now, the way I understand it, I'm not an expert, we're trying to get an expert in here for 1360, and if we do that, I'll make that announcement so you guys in Phoenix can listen in as well. But I believe Glen Canyon, hey, once it gets below a certain point, that's it, it goes to 0. So they're starting to release water from reservoirs upstream. Of course, that's making people in Colorado and Wyoming and New Mexico upset because they're like, hey, you know, that's our water. Not again, not legally, I guess, but a scenario where the wrong thing happens at the wrong time, and how long are you out? You know, could power actually be out a month, 2 months? You know, outside of some form of like a natural EMP event, or, you know, I don't know, volcano, nuclear, you know, we think about all these, just with the fact that we haven't done a very good job of understanding, and, you know, I'll say, you know, with climate change and the rest, the wind and the solar and all that's nice. But now, really, drought. I think we got to put drought right up there, because that's where a lot. Oroville in California, that's another reservoir with a lot of power generation that's in danger here. So a lot of things to keep in mind. I know we're kind of getting off the subject a little bit, but with utility silver or silver rounds, good barterable stuff, and the price, like I said, just outstanding. And U.S. Silver Eagles, it's the cheapest they've been in so long. 800-951-0592. Now, some of you have been hearing about this Basel III agreement. This has to do with really trying to give the appearance of more transparency in the gold and silver markets. Now, we know that there is horrible manipulation in the gold and silver markets. It's no secret. J.P. Morgan is the silver cartel, and they do that through paper contracts, right? And we kind of now see, paper contracts coming to light here, where, oh, well, the price is this, but yet nobody will sell you it for that price. It's almost become meaningless. And they do this by, they don't actually have any of the silver, but they can suppress the price by buying all of these future paper contracts that they're essentially saying, well, we're betting that it's going to go down. That's kind of, the logic behind it all. And Basel III, there's two things at work. They want to be more transparent about the inventory, and they want to make it harder for these banks and these whoever it is, the powers that be, if you will, to manipulate price through paper contracts without any physical product behind it. And in reading the initial, boy, it was a good start. Unfortunately, it's been watered down a little bit. It's still not quite finalized, but they are going to prevent, at least as it, and I can't say they are yet because it isn't finalized, but it appears that they are going to prevent these major financial institutions from buying mass amounts of paper futures contracts without a certain amount of physical silver to back it up. So that's a positive. Because right now they can buy whatever they want. And they have none of it. They don't care. I don't have to have it. The other side of the agreement, the inventory. How much is there? And remember, we've seen a couple of silver short squeezes, and they always try, oh, no, we've got plenty, we've got plenty. That's always the answer. And then all of a sudden, right now what they have is a spreadsheet. And most people don't really know this, but it's just a spreadsheet. I mean, and I'm oversimplifying it. But it's a spreadsheet that has allegedly silver stock. And used to be, these were in the forms of 1,000-ounce silver bars. They all had to be, the purity, 995 or 999, I'm not sure exactly which, but pure silver bars, 1,000 ounce. We'll talk about that inventory when we get back. Patriot Radio News Hour, don't touch that dial. Welcome back, Patriot Radio News Hour, talking about silver bars, and this is, again, based on paper contracts traded like here in the U.S., right, on the COMEX, the London Metals Exchange. Those are the two primary ones. Now there's another one now in China. By the way, China, here's the sad part. China has the most transparent exchange because it's all based on physical. But I want you to picture a vault. And in these vaults, and it's exactly what you think. Brinks and the big banks, they have these vaults. And inside of these vaults in silver, there's 1,000-ounce bars. And you're talking, these things, each bar weighs over 80 pounds. That would be 2 monster boxes of silver. So when you buy a silver contract, in theory, you're controlling 1,000 ounces of silver. And you think about it right now at silver, and by the way, silver is at $25.25. So silver is up 25 cents today. But you're looking at 1,000 ounces of silver. That's over $25,000, and you can control this. $50, $60, $70, $80, depending on what the market, very cheaply. And I won't go into how all the contracts work and all that stuff. That I'll do that on a different show. But just imagine these vaults filled with tons and tons and tons and tons of 1,000-ounce silver bars. The U.S. Mint, as an example. By the way, in these contracts for silver, these contracts, July, September, December, it's like every 3 months there's a silver contract, and it's actually a little less than that. It's like 10 weeks or something like that. The U.S. Mint contracts a company to buy 1,000-ounce silver bars from the COMEX. And it tells that company, hey, for, let's just say September, which is the most traded contract we have. In September, we would like you to buy, then let's just say they want to buy 1 million ounces. Okay. Hey, we want you to buy 1,000 1,000-ounce silver bars. And that company is actually Sunshine. Sunshine places the order. They take these 1,000 silver bars, 1,000-ounce silver bars, and they ship them to Sunshine on behalf of the U.S. Mint. Sunshine then takes these 1,000-ounce bars, and they essentially melt it back down, and they put them into these strips, and they punch the disc, the planchet. They punch them, and they make a silver disc. There's nothing on it, and they're all 1 ounce. They meet all the specifications for the U.S. Mint. They package them up, they ship them to the Mint, and the Mint stamps them. Right? And you get your Silver Eagle design, the Lady Liberty, the whole 9 yards. And the Mint stamps them, puts them in the tubes, puts them in the monster box, and then they sell them to these 8 bullion banks around the world. And then dealers like me buy them from these bullion banks. And then we turn around and sell them to you. And this happens all over the world. All the mints, and again, whether they get them from London or New York or even Shanghai now. But they tell us there's plenty. They've got these spreadsheets that say so. And the problem is they've got 2 categories. And for simplicity, the first category is, hey, these are silver bars that meet all the requirements that are available. But then they have another category. Hey, these are all these other silver bars that meet the specifications that may be available to us, but, somebody owns them, but, we want you to know we're storing it. Either they're available or they're not, right? I mean, again, talking about transparency, one of the things that Basil III wants to do is say, hey, wait a minute. Because what ends up happening is when the available silver gets too low, magically, here comes a new spreadsheet. And some of this silver that they said they didn't have, now they do. And there's a lot of gamesmanship being played. So Basil III is like, okay, listen, we're going to knock that off. Sort of. Obviously, the simple answer would be every month tell us how many 1,000-ounce silver bars you own. Period. Because that's what you can deliver. Right? The fact that you claim that there's these other bars that you don't own doesn't mean anything. Until you own them, they're not yours. They're not yours to ship. But it's a way that they can make stocks appear better than what they are. And we've had this battle going on. Now, again, they'll tell you they've got plenty of silver. And maybe they do. Here's the sad part. I don't know. Because they don't do inventory the way a person with any common sense would be like, yeah, that's how many you got? And that's what's available. It's not how they like to do it. Basil III is going to make that more difficult for the banks. Now, I want to say it's going to end it. But we've got to wait until all the ink is dry before we can make that claim. If it really does end it, that's actually going to be huge. A lot bigger for silver than for gold. It'll still be big for gold, but much bigger for silver. When we come back, is there really a lot of supply? Either way, direct, indirect, own, don't own. We'll talk about that next. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, our big silver spectacular. Just a huge opportunity. The timing is perfect. I believe silver bottomed yesterday. Silver has this is probably I don't even know, third, fourth, fifth time that silver has bottomed since COVID here at just below $25 an ounce. It's like $24.80 technically, and bounces off and comes back. Today, as an example, like I said, silver's up about 25 cents, $25.25 to the ounce. And we're talking about Basel III. This agreement is almost done. I think in the next 90 days it'll be finalized. It could take to the end of the year, but it's almost there. Everyone's agreed, okay, we've caught you too many times manipulating precious metals. And, you know, we know about the spoofing and all this stuff. And so they're trying to be more transparent. Again, the simple answer is let's just knock off all the bull crap and just base it upon, hey, what's physically available, and you have to own it to say you have control of it, and just go on that. And I think most people are like, yeah, that just makes sense. But that they're not going to do that. Because if they did that, within the course of probably a week or two, silver price would double. Gold price would probably go up, I don't know, $500, $600, $700 in a week. Because that's how much suppression there is, and they know that. I think they're going to end up somewhere in the middle. They're going to take away some of the manipulation, not all of the manipulation, but I definitely think it is going to, well, it's going to help both gold and silver price without a doubt. Because all the manipulation is to the downside. They're trying to keep the price lower. But we're talking about these delivery bars, these 1,000-ounce bars. They've never been a problem, ever. They've always had them. And excuse me, until last year, all of a sudden, they started saying, well, there's still plenty of silver. We just don't have these 1,000-ounce ones. And we got 100-ounce ones, or we've got kilo bars. We got this. So they've now actually allowed for more bars, smaller bars, to use those as well. Which kind of gives you the first indication, okay, there's not that much. And then you start thinking about all the green energy, you know, this whole Biden infrastructure stuff, a lot of that going towards, you know, the wind and the solar, and you think about the electric vehicle, which, as you know, General Motors, Ford, all of them, hey, by 2030, they're pretty much not going to be any more gas cars. Well, 2035, technically, I think is about the last time you'll see a gas engine. Silver is needed for all of that stuff. And I'm telling you right now that forget about what they want to build. How many solar panels and electric cars and wind turbines and this, that, the other. It's unobtainable. But even if they get half of what they're asking for, the amount of silver needed to supply all of these things is going to have to be a feat. And that we're going to see the price of silver really move. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it should have already done it. Yeah, you're right. It should have. But these are powerful banks and powerful institutions. But make no mistake about it, the demand for silver, not just in what I'll call wealth protection, like what we do, is off the charts. But the industrials demand off the charts. And so we've got this thing where, and as far as industrial demand goes, there's this chart out there, and you can see, hey, by 2025, we're talking about a 50% increase in industrial demand for silver. Where's that 50% going to come from? And of course, we're now in this huge inflationary world, so coin demand is not going to relent. You know, I brought up the point the other day, and this is how big the problem is. The U.S. Mint can make more than 50 million ounces of silver eagles in a year. How do I know this? Well, because they've done it. Then why is it, like last year, they said, well, we only can make 30 million. This year, we only can make, and I don't know what the number this year is going to be, maybe 35 million. There's only one answer that I can come up with. Well, why not? Because they actually, it's one of the few areas of government, they make money selling these silver eagles. Is if they buy what they need. If the Canadian mint buys what they need, the Australian mint, the Chinese mint, all the mints bought what they needed, what they could sell. Then they would see that the emperor has no clothes, right? And the silver shortage would really take off, and it's a form of suppression. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I don't see silver. I have a hard time. You know, silver at $25.25 is a ridiculous price. I just don't understand how it could go lower. Like I said, that's why it always keeps bouncing off this $24.80 thing over and over and over again. Because even there, I'm like, it can't be lower than that. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, rolls of U.S. silver eagles. And again, I've looked everywhere. One company, you can come within, I think, like 36 cents of an ounce of my price if you buy 1,500 of them. Right? Of course, if you buy 500 from me, I lower the price even more. So you can't buy them for less anywhere. And these are back dates, which most of these companies out there are trying to jack up the price on you. We don't do that here. I've got them here. Listen, these are nicer than they've been. Listen, silver eagles will tone and whatnot. Doesn't hurt the value, but these, at least the ones that I've got here, and I know Jason. I talked to Jason earlier. These are really clean ones. So that's doesn't help or hurt. They just look nicer. $700 a roll if you buy a case of them, which is 25 rolls. Take $5 a roll off, $6.95 or $17,375 for the case. I think silver bottomed yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised at all next week to have, silver at $26, $27, and that's not a lot. But just think about where we're headed here going forward. Infrastructure. They're trying to have a vote today. It's going to get done. Good for silver. Inflation is here. There's no denying it. It's good for silver. I know right now they act like it's bad. It's not. It's good for silver. Basil III. Probably the best thing that's happened in silver in a long time because it's going to be less manipulated. So I think this is a great entry point here. And for silver eagles, are we ever going to get back to a normal price? And right now, what would be normal right now? Probably $5 or $6 over spot, because the mint's got to make their money. But I don't think so. I think we're going to see silver hit $50, and I think it's going to happen in the next 18 months. And I don't see premiums ever getting back to, gosh, I remember when I first started, this is a true story, when I first started here, the first thing I sold, I even remember the lady that bought it from me. She bought a roll of silver eagles from me, and I charged her $1.25 over spot. And I want to say silver at the time was barely $5. Those days are gone. But take the time, put them away. You know, it's always hard to catch bottoms or tops, and you can't build your portfolio that way. But this is a great entry point on top of I got lucky and was able to buy Silver Eagles outside of the wholesale market, and I bought them for less, which is why I'm cheaper than everybody else until I run out of them. 800-951-0592. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagle, $700 a roll. Buy 25 rolls or more. $695. We also have silver rounds. If you wanted to spend even less per round, rolls of silver rounds at $630. 800-951-0592. That concludes my silver show for the month. Tomorrow we'll get back to economic data and all of that. God bless everybody. Have a great day.